Hello, Algebra 2 students. We are going to talk about expressions and formulas, and we're going to use order of operations to evaluate those expressions, and we're going to use formulas as well. So a few vocab words, if you want to write these down. I'm not going to write out the definitions, but you can find them on page 5, and formula you can find on page 6. I'll give a quick rundown of what these are. Variables, you should know what variables are. They're unknown, so we use letters to show those. And then algebraic expressions are letters, numbers, and mathematical operations. There's no equal sign in an expression. Order of operations is how we evaluate expressions. And then a formula relates two or more quantities. So those are some vocab words. If you want to write down the definitions, feel free to look in your book on page 5 and page 6. So order of operations. Write this down if you don't remember these. PEMDAS. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. But the P stands for parentheses, or your grouping symbols. So brackets. One thing that we forget with the grouping symbol is the fraction bar. Okay, so the fraction bar is also a grouping symbol. Exponents comes next, and then we multiply or divide left to right, whatever comes first. Sometimes you might be dividing first, sometimes you might be multiplying first. And then add, subtract is our last step. Same thing with multiply, divide, left to right. Sometimes you might subtract first, sometimes you might add first. So we're going to look at this example here, and we're going to evaluate it, meaning find the answer. And we're going to plug in these numbers for the variables, and we're going to use order operations to solve this expression. So I will do this one with you. So A is going to be 5, and then B is going to be a negative 3.2, and we're going to square that. I am going to put that in parentheses, as should you. When you use your calculator, you need to put that in parentheses, otherwise it will do order operations. It will square it first and then tack on the negative. So anytime you're taking a negative to the to a power, to an exponent, you need to make sure that you have parentheses around that. And then we're going to have a negative 3.2 minus 5. So with our next step, we're going to go ahead and do the parentheses first. So that would be this part right here. So a negative 3.2 minus 5 is a negative 8.2. And I just rewrite every line for every step. And then the next step is exponents. So when you take a negative 3.2 squared, it's going to be a positive 10.24. And my dog just got back from a walk. Hold on, let me... All right. Where were we? Sorry about that. Okay, so now we have to multiply. So we're going to multiply 10.24 times negative 8.2. And when we do that, and I'm just going to leave it in parentheses here so I know that my negative goes with the negative 83.968. And then when we add those together, our final step, you should get a negative 78.968, which is your final answer. So that was using order of operations with an algebraic expression. Now this was on our pre-assessment, or a problem like this, and the biggest mistake that I saw you guys make is you wanted to add these first rather than multiply. And trust me, that is a huge mistake that I see a lot of students make. So don't feel bad if you made that mistake, but now you know you got to multiply first before you add. Alright, here's the next example. I want you to go ahead and write this down, pause the video, and see if you can figure this one out on your own. And when we come back, I will share my answer with you too. So pause the video and then I'll share my answer with you. Okay, so this is what I got. This is my work. What I did is I went ahead and plugged these values in for H, J, and K. I went ahead and did my exponents first. -1 squared is 1. 4 squared is 16. And -1 cubed is a -1. And notice I'm going to do the top operations and the bottom operations separately and then go ahead and divide at the very end because this fraction bar is a grouping symbol. So 3 times 16 times a half is going to be 24. 1 minus 24 is a -23. -1 plus 2 is 1, so your final answer is a -23. Now the next slide we're going to use a formula. So we're going to use the volume of a cone because a tornado is kind of like a cone. So we have V equals 1/3 pi r squared h. And we're going to go ahead and plug values in to find the volume of the tornado to the right. So 1/3 and pi are going to stay the same. R is going to be our 75 because that is our radius of the circle. And then our height is going to be 225. So you're going to, you can use your calculator on this. Use the pi button because that's more exact. Instead of 3.14, you should be able to find that pi button. So when we go ahead and square 75, it's 5,625. And then you'll punch this into your calculator. I'll give you some time to do that. Just pause the video if you need more time. But you should get around 1,325,359 cubic meters. Because it's volume, since it's three-dimensional, it's going to be cubic meters. Alright, so that's the volume of this tornado. And that's all I have for you. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. And if you have any questions, make sure you write them down. Summarize what you just learned in this video. And we'll see you later.